150 years ago in 1873, Richmond Hill was incorporated as a village. Through the years, our village has grown into a booming city that's now home to more than 200,000 people. This milestone anniversary is a moment for us to join together and celebrate all that makes us proud of our vibrant home community of Richmond Hill. With the raising of the 150 flag today, we are officially kicking off the celebrations.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this year marks the 150th birthday of my beautiful riding of Richmond Hill, a cause for celebration, to reflect on our past, to cheer on today, and to recommit ourselves to the future. Today, Richmond Hill continues to be a diverse, compassionate, youthful, and ambitious society with a strong sense of collective and community building, where ordinary people do extraordinary things. Mr. Speaker, in Richmond Hill, we are proud of our accomplishment. We are proud of our community, for this is Richmond Hill, and this is our home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yonge Street would be called our special little main street. That's how we evolved. We owe the 150th anniversary that we're celebrating this year. It was a dream of a gentleman named Amos Wright. He lobbied and he worked hard for Richmond Hill to become its own village. And we are actually sitting in Amos Wright's home right now today, the Richmond Hill Heritage Center. We learn from what happened in the past. We need to learn from our past in order to move forward into the future.
You know, Richmond Hill was a wonderful place to grow up. I can get quite emotional thinking about it. I was born in 1953. We lived on Mill Street and then moved to Centre Street when I was 9. When I go back now, it is so familiar, and yet it's so different. It's gotten so big. And when I tell people there were 16,000 people in Richmond Hill when I was a kid, and you know, the city was very far away and there were farms between the town and Toronto at the time, kids just look at me like I'm crazy because it's so built up. But it felt like a small town to me.
The Historical Society was put together 50 years ago, actually, this year, to help commemorate the history of Richmond Hill. In Richmond Hill's case, the growth since, 150 years, since 1873, we've learned a lot of things about bringing new people here, how to attract them, how to keep them, and I think we've got to build on that into the future for sure.
My name is Vignaraja. I live in Richmond Hill. I've been associated with this temple ever since its inception. In the 80s, we had a base of about no more than 500 people. Now we have about 50,000 people, or more than that. And I'm proud to say this is the most attended and the biggest temple in North America, not just Canada.
Born and raised in Richmond Hill in 1975, I think Hillcrest Mall either was built the same year or was 1 year old. Spent a lot of time in that mall. I was there when there was still a Ziggy's grocery store in that mall. Now it has gone through a complete transformation. But I feel like I am the quintessential Richmond Hill girl. I went to elementary school at Charles Howitt Public School. I went to high school at Langstaff Secondary School, hung out at Archibald's. In my more senior years of high school, I was a camp counselor at Parks and Rec forever until I went away to university. I was a baton twirler with a Richmond Hill baton club from the time I was 5 until I was about 18, and we were so proud to represent Richmond Hill. In 1990, I was crowned the Richmond Hill Carnival Snow Queen. And so the Mill Pond had a huge thing every year where they crowned the Carnival Queen. I won when I was in grade 9. wasn't like a pageant, it was more like we had to do speaking at all of the legions and the Kiwanis clubs, and so it was actually really good practice for what I do now. But Richmond Hill will always be my heart. My parents are still there. I'm still there every weekend. I know the people at the Loblaws. I still go to the library. I bring my kids to the library right beside Charles Howitt Public School. So Richmond Hill girl through and through.
What I love most about Richmond Hill are the communities and the neighborhoods, the fact that it's so family friendly.
I think it's a very strong community that's very focused on the benefit of helping others.
I'm a blogger, activist, author, motivational speaker, change maker, and proud resident of Richmond Hill. I've lived in Richmond Hill for literally as long as I can remember, since I was about 2 years old, and it's definitely become my home and a place that I truly love. Not only is it a place where I've had such supportive educators throughout my time as an activist when I've needed time off school, it really was the place where I started my activism. When I was 9, I started a shoreline cleanup, and we ended up collecting over 10 bags of garbage, and that was the first time that I really saw what a group of people, when they come together, the impacts that they could make, and that I, as a 9-year-old, could actually create positive change. And yeah, that all started here at my home in Richmond Hill.
My favorite memory in Richmond Hill was when all of the summer camps, going to the splash park with my friends.
Our favorite memory in Richmond Hill is watching our cousins play sports here, like soccer and baseball.
I'm more or less retired, but I spent my career in the sports broadcasting business. First as an on-air person, and then later a producer, and finally as an executive. For the 1994 Olympics, the Norwegian broadcasters wanted Canadians to cover the hockey. And the person in charge said to me, "Is there anything you've ever wanted to do in hockey coverage that you've never been able to?" And I remembered seeing a picture in Sports Illustrated of a still camera inside the net at a hockey game. You could see the goaltender, you could see the banners in the ceiling, you could see the puck right in the crease. I thought, I'd like to do that.
Here's what the camera looks like from underneath.
It was a marvelous invention.
That is a target. Think you could do that again?
Not if you're trying to.
They asked me to work on the 1988 Summer Games, which were in Seoul, Korea. We were successful enough that I ended up being one of the recipients of an Emmy. And it is one of the honors I'm the most proud of. I think there's no doubt that people who live in Richmond Hill can and actually have made a mark on various areas of talent. Recently, the Stanley Cup champion netminder.
And what a save on Radish by Binnington with the glove.
I was born in Richmond Hill, and then my mom and dad had a house in Oak Ridges, so I was there for a couple years, and then majority of the stuff I remember was when we moved into Heritage Estates, which is Bathurst and Major Mac, and that was such a key time in my younger age leading into adolescent days, and truly so many great memories of just biking through the neighborhood, and some of my oldest friends are from that street. Yeah, the road hockey games we were able to get going on the street was fun. We'd go knocking on doors on the street and around the corner, and then we kind of created our own roster of kids of all ages. We'd get everyone included, and it was just a lot of fun.
Elvis Stoichkol, world champion, and he proudly described himself as from Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Oh boy, first memory of Richmond Hill. Believe it or not, it was before I actually moved here in 1983. I think I competed at a competition at Elginborough Arena when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And the arena seemed huge at the time, being that young and that small. That was definitely one of my first memories of being in Richmond Hill. After the '94 season, becoming world champion, Canadian champion, Olympic silver medal, everything came in one year, was within like a 4-month period, my life completely changed. And that's when the mayor calls you and gets a hold of you and says, we're going to be changing the name of the arena and we're going to be naming it after you. And that was a pretty exciting time.
The Cultural Summit is also an opportunity to connect as a community and learn more about the activities, programs, and services and the people that make Richmond Hill so vibrant.
My vision for the future of arts and culture in Richmond Hill is a community that supports the arts and a place where arts education is important.
So Richmond Hill is a very interesting community. It's got a very vibrant, growing arts community.
I'm a film and television director, and for the past 15 years of my career, I've worked on various projects that have gone on to be released on an international scale. And the bulk of the work I've done has been in my post-production studio in Richmond Hill. Yeah, we have a wealth of talent in this city, from musicians to actors like Jackie Richardson, who I had the pleasure to direct in a film. Yes, we have incredible locations all over the city.
Like so many productions have done before me, I would absolutely love to film at the Richmond Hill David Dunlop Observatory.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That vision is the vision that many have sacrificed themselves for. They have gone to war when people have not sought to follow.
Our company is headquartered in the city of Richmond Hill. We've been based here for about 24 years, and most recently we're known for AI cameras that we developed for local governments. These AI cameras help cities to find deficiencies. We've partnered with more than 300 cities around the world to develop this technology. The city of Richmond Hill is a really great place to have your business, and there's really a great talent pool from the city and surrounding areas. The city itself is also a great partner and works with local businesses like ours to identify opportunities to promote our business.
The thing we love most about Richmond Hill is how much of a diverse and inclusive community it is.
I think Richmond Hill is one of the most inclusive communities around. I think with all the things and events that they have and we host here in the city, honestly, like any culture, everybody's included.
It really has grown into a place that accepts anyone, and it's this really welcoming and open community that's so diverse.
I love that I can see people like myself here.
I'm so grateful to be in Canada, especially I've been living in Richmond Hill for 3 years and I'm very happy.
Hello Richmond Hill, Trish Stratus here. Some of you may know me as a WWE Hall of Famer where I've been kicking butt and taking names for the last 2 decades, or perhaps you know me from the judges panel on Canada's Got Talent. Or you may know me from Hillcrest Mall, the Mill Pond, or maybe enjoying a celebration at Richmond Green. I've been a resident of Richmond Hill since elementary school, back when the road to Canada's Wonderland was a dirt road. True story. Richmond Hill has been the backdrop of the formative years of most of my life. It has shaped me and molded me into the woman I am today, and I am proud to call it home.
I always sort of felt this really great connection with the energy and the people here that was different than anywhere else I've ever been.
You know, my memories are, as one's memories are of being a child, are fantastic, but Richmond Hill is a big part of that. The place is a big part of that.
Richmond Hill is community.
Richmond Hill is courteous.
Richmond Hill is a welcoming community because it keeps changing. I think the soul of Richmond Hill stays the same, but the population that is there continues to change, and I like that Richmond Hill sort of takes that on and changes and evolves with the people.